Welcome to the Chosen Podcast. We appreciate you spending some time with us. Make sure you listen to the whole episode because it's going to be a good one. Have you shared our show with anyone yet? Make sure you do us a solid and tell every athlete you know. Now let's get to it. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Chosen Podcast. This is Wes of the Chosen Ones, home of student athlete empowerment. I appreciate everybody that's been listening, especially to the audio only podcast. The last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, really, we've been talking about confidence building, how to build that confidence. So hopefully you've been listening to that to give you a plan on how to increase your confidence. One thing I want to add, if you're not putting in the work on the court, the ball handling, the shooting, conditioning, on top of the mental work, it's not going to come together. I guarantee that. So I want to encourage you to take the time to spend on the mental side of the game, but also take the time to get those reps in, game speed reps too. You put that together, you're going to be a beast. Anyway, I want to get back to building your confidence, giving you a plan to be the best player you can be, right? So one thing that life always guarantees is challenges. One of the biggest, most frustrating challenges that you can have in sports is a shooting slump. Have you been in a shooting slump before? Think about it. I'm willing to bet that you have. I'm willing to bet everything that I got that you've been in a shooting slump. Maybe you're in a shooting slump right now. So this is what this episode is about. I want to spend a couple minutes with you to talk to you about how you can get out of that shooting slump. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So here's my secret. My secret is to build a solid foundation. Start with that. It's not really a secret, but in my opinion, it's a great way to get through hard times, to get through that shooting slump. So you build a house, right? A carpenter or a construction man, a team, they're going to build a house. What are they going to build it on? They're not going to build it on sand, right? Heck, right? Because when storms come, when a rain comes down, the house is just going to slide, right? The house is not going to stick to where it needs to be, right? It'll move, it'll cave, it'll tip. What do you build a house on? You build a house on solid rock. Therefore, it won't budge. If you read the Bible, you know what I'm talking about. This is where I got it. But anyway, what do you think that means? What do you think that means if you build a house on sand? How can you relate that to your life? As a basketball player or as an athlete, if you build your house on sand, it means you don't really have a plan. It means you don't really have a work ethic. It means you really don't have anything that will prepare you for hard times, right? It's just like, I'm an adult, so I'm going to talk about money. It's like a savings account, right? My refrigerator went out. If I didn't have a savings account to buy a new refrigerator, we would have been hit. We would have nowhere to put our food, right? So what is your savings account when things go bad? What is your foundation? That's what I want to get into. So I'll give you a couple of examples of how you can set your foundation and how you can go back to that whenever things get difficult, when things get tough, because they will. Number one, set goals and keep your eyes fixed on those goals. You got to go back to them every now and then. If it's every day, every week, remind yourself what those goals are. So whenever setbacks happen, ideally, you shouldn't take your eyes off those goals, right? So what do you want your career, your life to look like in the next 2, 3, 4 years? Use those goals as motivation to kind of snap you back to the road that you're trying to get to. So what are those goals? What is your goal for this year? What is your goal for your career? Are you trying to get to college and hoop? Are you trying to go D1, D2, whatever that may be? It's about the long haul. It's not about, tomorrow. It's not about next week or even next month. Even. It's about the long haul. So you want to have that big goal, that dream that you keep chasing after. So that's number one. Number two, I hope y'all writing this down. But number two, find your identity in your sport. This is one that I really hope that you understand, because not everybody is going to be a 25 point per game scorer. You might be now in high school, but you never know. In college, that might be totally different. Your role might change. Shoot, when I was in high school, I was an 18, 19, 20 point scorer. Then I got to college. I sat on the bench the first couple of games. Shoot. How do you adjust to that? I have to go back to my foundation, right? But anyway, what is your identity at this moment? What do you hang your head on? If someone held a gun to your head and said, you have to do this, insert skill, insert your best quality in basketball, what would you choose? Would you choose, I'm going to knock down this open three, or I'm going to find an open teammate, or I'm going to get a stop, or I'm going to get this rebound? What is that? Does it match your current role in your team, your AAU team? Is that something that you're working on more and more? Whatever it is, never go away from that. Never go away from what makes you the player that you are. Especially if you're a defender, if you're an effort type person. I envy you guys, because I was never that type of guy. I was a shooter. So if I'm shooting bad, everything was bad for me. But for y'all, if you're shooting bad, you can hang your hat on playing with a bunch of effort. I really had to make an effort to give effort, if that makes sense. But anyway, number two, find your identity in your sport. If you have identity, that gives you a confidence boost automatically. If you've ever experienced that, if you ever found your place in your friend group, if you found your place on a team or in your family, you automatically feel like you have value. So I encourage you to find your identity. Number three, be consistent. So if you had to rate yourself 1 through 10 on how consistent you are at practicing on your own, not with the team, not with coaches around, on your own, what would it be? What would that rating be? Is it a 10? You in the gym all the time? Is it a 2 or a 3? You could do much better. 5 is the average. What is that number? Obviously, you want to be a 10, right? Be consistent. Be consistent. If you got to drag a friend, a teammate there with you, accountability partner is everything. So be consistent with what you're trying to do. Number 4, develop a support system. People around you that love you, that will tell you the truth. When it is all said and done, who do you trust the most? Think about it. Who comes to your mind? Is it your mom, your dad, best friend, significant other, your uncle, aunt, grandparent? Whoever those people are, keep those people around you. That will tell you the truth. That will tell you, hey, you need to play better. Or that will encourage you, right? You need those people around you, especially when things are going bad. No one can do this life alone. No one. So keep those people around you. I think about my brother. He was probably my biggest supporter. Shoot, he would tell me what I needed to work on. He would tell me when I was playing bad. And he's a very intense guy, so sometimes it would be like a real intense conversation, but he knew how to get the best out of me. Who are those people in your life? Those are the people that you need to spend time with and maybe even unwind and not even think about basketball. You know, you got to have those people in your circle too. So who do you have in your corner that will be able to, lift you up, right? And that understands what you're trying to do with this game, that pushes you towards your goals, not pulls you from them. That's the support system. So there it is. 4 steps, right? There's more things that you can do. But these are 4 things that I would highly recommend that you put together yourself. So spend some time thinking, writing, brainstorming of 1, setting a goal. What are your goals? 2, find your identity in your sport. 3, be consistent. And 4, develop a support system. And whenever you feel like things are getting shaky, you're in a shooting slump, you're not playing well, you're not feeling great about yourself, go back to these things. Go back to your foundation. Spend some time with your loved ones. Be consistent in the gym. And you won't go wrong. So let me share you my foundation and we'll get out of here. Number 1 is my faith. Easy. It'll always be number 1 because without God, I'm nothing. So whenever I'm going through a hard time, God is the first one that I go to. No one on this earth can give me strength like he can. This is just me. I'm not forcing that upon you, but God is my number 1. Number 2 is relationships. My family, my wife. My wife is definitely number 2. God, then my wife, right? I pray, then I'll go to my wife, and she's always comforting. She's always encouraging, right? My family, my mom. I talked about my brother, my dad, my friends, and my boy Josh. You guys heard him on a lot of the episodes of the podcast. So having that accountability, that circle. Shout out to my boy Jabbar when it comes to just life and fitness, right? I lean on those people. And lastly, consistency. I'd like to think that if you asked anybody that knows me, what's Wes's best quality? I would like to think that they would say is consistency. Because I feel like I'm a very consistent person. That's my identity, is being consistent. Whether that's on the court or as a friend or as a husband, just consistency and staying solid. So that's my foundation right there. So what's yours? I encourage you to come up with yours. 3 to 4 things. That's your foundation that's going to get you through these hard times, through those shooting slumps. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to let you go. Hey, thanks for listening. Make sure you share this out. Until next time, deuces. That's a wrap. Thanks for listening to another episode of The Chosen Podcast. We appreciate the support. Do us a favor and send this episode to someone that needs it. Peace.